Today, as the title says, Turbine Guy is on the road to Africa. I am going to Nigeria, of all places, flying into Lagos. But to get there, I need to drive to Chicago to pick up a United flight, taking me to Frankfurt. Then I get to Lagos. It's like 8.5 hours to Frankfurt, then 6 hours or something to Lagos. So I'm whizzing down the Wisconsin Road, here above 70 right now, making some time. My flight today is at 5:35 Central, and I'll get into Chicago at about 2 at my parking lot, so I should have plenty of time. Plus, I got that TSA pre-check, where they charge you to check up on you and get you through the line faster. By the way, is well worth it. Anyways, why am I going to Africa? Well, it turns out I've got a friend named Peter Okawindo or something like that. They've all got a little difficult to pronounce names. Normal first names, harder last names. And I've been working with Peter. Peter for over. Cousin Ed just gave me a safe travels text. Anyways, I've been working with Peter for over a decade, trying to bring renewable energy to Africa. It's kind of his goal. Peter is a born Nigerian, I believe also a U.S. citizen, and he was a college teacher in New York for quite a bit of time. And now that he's getting a little older, he's retired, he wants to do something good for his country. So he's gone back and he's gotten involved in politics and other stuff. And this is really crazy because Peter's got me meeting with the governor of Abraka or something like that province, a senator in the same area, and supposedly the aviation minister of Nigeria, which the aviation minister is in charge of all the airports. So these meetings, I put proposals together talking about solar, wind, battery banks, other things you can do to supplement, like trash burning systems. We're bringing a trash burning system proposal to Nigeria. This thing's so cool. The company itself manufactures, I think they've got 45 installed worldwide, and they'll take solid waste, you can't have steel or concrete or stuff in there, but they will pressurize and vaporize this stuff. Even tires, I think, could go in. And all they produce are usable fuels and carbon. So you can take that carbon and fertilize with it if you want. So there's all different kinds of things we're bringing. And I guess the real cool thing about that trash burning thing is they can literally make millions of dollars a year doing it. And there's some sort of World Bank program that'll fund 95% of the project, and whoever we're working with in Nigeria only has to come up with 5% themselves. So we've got a lot of exciting opportunities, and something I want to bring to them, which I've been doing a lot of research on, is something called a gravity battery, using gravity. And there's a lot of ways they do that. They'll pump water up into a big pond and let the water drain down afterwards through a generator and use water as a storage medium. But of course, water can evaporate. But what they've been doing is designing these gravity systems that'll lift a heavy load and then slowly drop it to recover the energy. Or they're using old mines, like copper mines or whatever mines, and they're literally using conveyor belts, bringing rock up, like river rock, and then allowing that, when they have the excess energy, then allowing that to travel down the mine through generators in the mine. So they're actually using river rock for gravity type systems. Now out in Nigeria, they've got this old lumber mill, huge one that's been abandoned for a while. And Peter wants to take advantage of that. What I'd like to do, I would like to retrofit that into making the components for gravity battery systems. So while we're installing solar and wind, maybe in the same fields, we can capture excess energy using a gravity system and then return it to the grid at night. Now you ask, why is this important in Nigeria, all of this? Well, Nigeria's got very erratic electricity, where literally it'll be on for 10 minutes, 10% of the day you'll have electricity to run your fridge, charge your stuff, or anything else. That's not really enough. So a lot of people run generators. They're burning gas because Nigeria's got a lot of gas. So they run generators. But we're trying to also bring some off-grid renewable systems so people don't have to do that so much. Now, unfortunately, Nigeria is not a very good wind area, but there are places where the turbines could succeed, along the coastline or in parking lots and solar hybrid lights or street lighting, that kind of deal. So as I start, I got a few watchers now. I'm right now on the road traveling through Wisconsin, a little above 70, on my way to O'Hare Airport to fly to Frankfurt. Then from Frankfurt, I'm going to fly to Lagos. So I leave at 5:35 tonight. It's basically a 2-day trip, days-wise, and I get in around 5 o'clock, what is considered Thursday there. It's got to be Thursday there. So I've got this long flight coming up. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos, bring you all along on the trip. Now, interesting. I mean, this ain't cheap. I mean, this is a $2,000 ticket, and I ain't in no special seat at all. So I was looking at flights and pricing, and I found that if I was going to fly Delta, and I wanted to get out of the Minneapolis area, it would literally cost me $4,000 to fly from Minneapolis, I think, to Paris, to Lagos. But if I drove to Chicago and grabbed the airplane from Chicago back to Minneapolis, to Paris, to Lagos, then I'm only paying $2,000. So I got to drive to Chicago to cut my price in half. Well, I'm not going with Delta on that. I ended up going with United, where I'm not taking 2 stops. I've only got 1 stop in Frankfurt. But it's crazy how that stuff works. I got people asking me, well, why didn't you just, buy the cheaper ticket on Delta, get on to Minneapolis? Because if you don't board that flight in Chicago first, boom, they cancel the whole ticket and you're SOL. Pure SOL. So, to recap, I guess, I just wanted to let people know I'm on the road. Stop at Burger King, get some lunch here. I think I'll grab a few extra cheeseburgers to throw in my bag so I'm not killing myself at the airport, paying for stuff, or airports. I'll be broadcasting lots of videos when I can from Nigeria. I'm going to be all around the country. I'm going to Abuja, the capital, to meet people, I guess. I'm going to Abraka, one of their provinces or states, like Minnesota, Wisconsin are states. So I'll kind of be all over the country. So me flying right now to Nigeria isn't the end of it. I'll be flying around Nigeria too. And I'm going to bring you with everywhere. And my goal is to help you people, I don't know, I guess see what Nigeria is like. See what the food's like. Let you know how these meetings with these official government representatives, a governor, a senator, and the aviation minister. Now, this is really interesting because, now that I'm out of the communist state of Minnesota, I can breathe a little easier. And why do I call it communist? Because of our vaunted leader, Governor Walz, who I have approached over and over and over again, because we have an opportunity to put a wind turbine factory for micro wind in Minnesota. The Taiwanese are all on board for it. We can figure out how to make this work, but you know what? Governor Walz can't be bothered. Can't be bothered to talk to me. I mean, I want to bring jobs, green jobs in outstate Minnesota where they need them with an almost 99% or almost 100% recyclable, renewable product. And Minnesota's a great wind state. You know, I met with a couple of people, some senators and the Green Energy Committee. Well, I tell you, there was one other person who signed on who was in charge of facilitating federal funds for projects like this. After the first Zoom meeting we had, I couldn't get that guy to respond to me. And I don't know if word came down from above, said don't talk to that crazy turbine guy or whatever. But the state of Minnesota, no matter how much they proclaim, they want to be green. They don't want to be green. That is an outright lie from Governor Walz. He's the biggest hypocrite in the world. Unwilling to help bring Minnesota manufactured green energy products to his state. And instead would rather make announcements that we got to start thinking outside the box. I tell you, he drives me nuts with that. He always wanted to think outside the box. So what he did, because I'd already brought him a proposal, I got a box. I put a solar powered hat in it. That's inside the box. I put my proposal on the outside with a bunch of pictures of turbines, and I dropped it off with the letter saying, Governor Walz, this is outside of the box. I've been trying to get you to listen. And I did videos for all of this, so you can go back and find them on my channel. But he wasn't interested in talking. Neither's his staff. Bunch of green energy hypocrites in the state of Minnesota. And you know what I found out? All these people who are supposedly green aren't green because they don't have any and they aren't interested in getting any. Now Jeremy Munson, just saw a Facebook post from him. He's a Republican, and I challenged him to a debate about green energy because he was always smashing and slamming on it. He just posted that he's all upset that the power's out and they might not get it back till 6 o'clock yesterday or something like that. Oh, everyone's going to have flooding because of sump pumps and blah, 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 blah. Well, Mr. Munson, I got a sump pump at my house, and I need it, especially when the power goes out. So I got batteries that run it, and those are charged with solar power. I run part of my basement off of that. So when the power's out, boom, garage door opens, the sump pump's running, I got the lights down, you know, whatever. Where the heck are you, Mr. Munson? Well, you're dissing green energy. You're too freaking chicken to try it. No, I commented on this thing. I didn't even say that. I said, well, you're griping about this. After Hurricane Ian went over our house in Florida, no power for weeks. Literally 3 weeks, no power. The turbine guy was up and running every single day. My beer was cold 6 days later in the fridge when I got down there. I got solar power and battery bank. I wasn't scrambling for gas to run my generator, my noisy generator. I didn't have to change the oil in any of it. I didn't have to blah, 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 you know, because they had a big gas crunch going on down there. There was actually a marina. You could bring your gas can down, write your name on it, leave them like $10 or something, and they'd, in the morning, and at the end of the day, they would have driven into town with one of their big boats, filled it up, and brought it back for you. So people were getting gas, but I didn't have any of those issues. And Mr. Munson, you might be out for a few hours. What about 3 weeks that we were out of power, but weren't out of power? I still had my satellite TV. I still had my refrigerator, my microwave. Of course, we got our barbecue with extra propane tanks, so we can run that. Where were you, Mr. Munson? You're on Facebook grousing. Now, you're a Republican, right? Grousing that you're too ignorant to know how to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. That's what people need to start doing. And that's what green energy is about. Green energy isn't about the government creating huge fields everywhere, solar, huge wind turbine farms. That's part of it. But to me, green energy is about you taking care of yourself and making sure you're okay like I have. Nigeria. I did a proposal for their idea, and I showed how grid, but even where all that solar is, they make farming, make food. And then part of the solar in the farm and all this could be part of the program that we could bring an educational program to their university on sustainable and renewable. So these are the kinds of things I want to bring to Africa, to Nigeria. I am on my way there, on the road, Chicago. Should be getting in around 2 o'clock. It said flight's at 5:30. So I'm a little excited, but of course a little worried on one thing, two things. You always hear about scammers from Nigeria. That's so true. I mean, heck, half the time when Dr. Phil has an old lady or old guy on there getting scammed, they're from Nigeria. But the terrorist activities going on in Nigeria, there literally are, I don't know, terrorists or whatever types of groups you want to call that are running through towns killing people. Fortunately, that's in another part of the country. Absolutely in another part of the country. That's up in the northeastern part. Now, I'm going to be in the southwestern and then probably middle part. So I'll be in the areas where I don't think I have to worry about. Although Bubba said he'd come rescue me if I had to send him an SOS. Bubba said he'd get on a plane and he'd come rescue me. But all I could see happening to them is him getting arrested for something stupid when he gets there, and he gets to go to jail. I tell you, that ain't one place you want to go to jail. Well, like I said, I'll be doing videos as I go. Flying Delta, then Lufthansa, then Lufthansa, then Lufthansa. It's going to be an interesting trip. I'm going to bring you all along. I don't know, I haven't seen any questions come up or anything yet. The Turbine guy is Nigeria or bust, I guess, right now. I don't know, any questions, anybody? I need that. No. I got a phone call. Just hang up on them. You can leave a message. All right, well, I got 6 people watching. I guess that's a decent amount. I just don't have a lot more to say. I told you where I'm going, on the road to Chicago, so I can get a flight. Lagos, so I can go talk to 3 government officials. Senator, governor of, I think, Abraka State, and then the aviation minister who's in charge of all the airports. All the airports. And then actually, one other person I forgot to tell you, I guess right away when we get there, he wants me to come and see the, what's they call that, when all the businesses get together in a community. Doggone it. Not Commerce Department, Department of Commerce, whatever. He wants me to meet with this business group when I get there, and I think that's going to be pretty exciting. Hopefully the jet lag don't catch up with me, but one thing Turbine Guy learned years ago, when the Turbine Guy was in the Navy, is I can sleep anywhere, anytime. So I'm looking forward to this 8.5 and then 6-hour flight, catching up on some snoozing. All right, folks, thanks for hanging with me. See you in the next video. Probably either at O'Hare or when I get to Frankfurt. Turbine Guy, signing off.